My friend, let me start with a story. Many years ago, there was a young boy who believed he was not creative. In school, he was not good at drawing. His essays were average. His teachers never called him talented. So he began to believe, maybe creativity is for other people, not me. But one day, while sitting under a tree, he began to think differently. He asked himself a simple question. What if creativity is not a gift? What if creativity is a skill, and skills can be learned? That one thought changed everything. The boy went on to write books, start businesses, and inspire people all over the world. Do you know the secret? He discovered that creativity is not about being special. It is about learning techniques and training your mind. And today, I will show you how you can generate the most creative ideas, even if you think you are not creative. So stay with me until the end, because I am about to share 13 powerful techniques that can open your mind, awaken your imagination, and make you believe in your own creative power. Let's begin. Technique 1. Believe that you are creative. The very first step to generating creative ideas begins inside your own mind. Before you even try any strategy or technique, you must first believe that you are capable of being creative. This may sound simple, but it is actually one of the biggest obstacles people face. Many people tell themselves, I am not creative. I was not born with talent. Other people are the artists, the inventors, the idea makers, not me. And because they repeat this thought again and again, they block their own creativity. It is like planting a seed in the ground but never giving it water. The seed has the potential to grow into a tree, but without belief, it will remain buried and never rise above the soil. The truth is that creativity is not limited to painting a beautiful picture or writing a song. Creativity is much bigger than that. Creativity is solving problems in a new way. Creativity is finding a different path when the old one no longer works. Creativity is asking a question no one else has asked. You use creativity when you decide how to decorate your room, how to cook a new recipe, or even how to save money when your budget is small. Every human being, including you, has this power. Creativity lives in your mind, just like it lives in the mind of any great thinker or artist. But here is the key. Your mind will only begin to search for ideas when it believes that ideas are possible. If you tell yourself, I am not creative, your brain closes the door. It will not even try. But the moment you say, I am creative, I can find solutions, I can come up with new ideas, your brain begins to open. It starts to notice possibilities it ignored before. It connects pieces of information in new ways. It surprises you with thoughts you did not know you had. So, the very first technique is to change the story you tell yourself. Stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes, and say, I am creative. My mind is full of ideas waiting to come out. Repeat this every day until you believe it deeply. Once you believe in your creativity, all the other techniques will become more powerful. Belief is the soil, and your ideas are the seeds. Without belief, nothing will grow. With belief, your creativity can bloom in ways you never imagined. Technique 2. Ask better questions. Every creative idea begins with a question. If you think about it, every invention, every story, and every breakthrough started because someone dared to ask something different. The problem is, Most people do not realize the power of questions. They ask small, ordinary, boring questions, and so they receive small, ordinary, boring answers. For example, when someone asks, "How can I finish this as quickly as possible?" the answer will only show them the fastest way, not the most creative way. But when you change the question to, "How can I make this exciting? How can I do this in a way nobody has ever done before?" your mind begins to open and new paths appear. Questions are like keys. Some keys open small doors, while other keys open big gates that lead to new worlds. When you train yourself to ask better questions, you give yourself the keys to those bigger gates. Creative people are not always the most intelligent or the most educated. Very often, they are simply the ones who ask unusual questions. They challenge the normal way of thinking. They do not accept the first answer. They search for more. Imagine facing a challenge at work. Most people might ask, "How do I fix this problem?" That is a simple question, but a creative person might ask, "How can I turn this problem into an opportunity? How can I make this situation better, not just for me, but for everyone involved?" Suddenly, the question itself pushes the brain to search deeper. The brain loves questions. When you ask, it begins to look for answers, even when you are not thinking about it consciously. This is why many great ideas appear hours later or even days later after asking the right question. So, whenever you feel stuck, do not blame yourself for not having ideas. Instead, look at the question you are asking. If the question is too small, expand it. Ask, what else is possible? What is another way to see this? The better the question, the better the answer. And soon, you will notice that new ideas begin to appear everywhere around you. Technique 3. Collect inspiration from everywhere. One of the biggest mistakes people make about creativity is thinking that ideas are created from nothing. They imagine creative people sitting alone in a room, waiting for a spark to magically appear in their minds. But the truth is different. Most creative ideas are not born out of thin air. They are built from inspiration. Inspiration is the raw material of creativity. It comes from the world around you. The books you read, the conversations you have, the music you listen to, the places you visit, and even the small details you notice in daily life. Think of creativity as connecting dots. Each dot is a piece of information, a story, an image, or an experience. If you do not collect dots, you will have nothing to connect. That is why some people feel stuck. They are trying to create without giving their mind anything to work with. But if you collect more dots, your brain can link them in surprising ways. Suddenly, a line from a movie connects with an idea from a book, which then connects with something you saw on the street. And from those connections, a brand new idea is born. Collecting inspiration does not always require money or travel to faraway countries. It can be as simple as walking in your neighborhood with open eyes. Notice the colors of the buildings. Notice how people talk and interact. Visit a cafe and listen to the conversations around you. Talk to a friend from a different background and hear their story. Read books from cultures other than your own. Watch documentaries about subjects you know nothing about. Each of these experiences gives you new dots to store in your mind. The more dots you collect, the richer your imagination becomes. And when you face a problem or need a new idea, your brain will automatically begin to connect them. This is why some of the most creative people are also curious people. They are always learning, always observing, always collecting. So, make it your habit. Do not just live your life. Study it, explore it, and gather inspiration from everywhere. In time, you will discover that your creativity grows stronger with every new experience you collect. Technique 4. Write down your thoughts. One of the saddest truths about creativity is that many brilliant ideas are lost, not because they were bad, but because they were forgotten. Have you ever had a great thought while walking, taking a shower, or lying in bed at night? In that moment, the idea feels so clear and exciting. You tell yourself, "I will definitely remember this." But hours later, it is gone. You try to recall it, but only a shadow remains. This happens to everyone, even the most creative people. The difference is that creative people have learned a powerful habit. They write down their thoughts. Your mind is a wonderful place, but it is also a busy place. Thousands of thoughts pass through your brain every single day. Without a system to capture them, ideas slip away as quickly as they arrive. That is why carrying a notebook or even using the Notes app on your phone is so important. Every time a thought comes, no matter how small, strange, or incomplete, capture it. Do not judge the idea in that moment. Do not say, "This is silly," or "This is not useful." Just write it down. A short note, a quick sketch, even a single word is enough to keep the idea alive. Later, when you go back and read your notes, you may be surprised. What looked small at first can grow into something powerful. A line you wrote during a bus ride could become the first line of a book. A random question you jotted down could inspire a business idea. A silly thought could connect with another note and turn into something brilliant. Writing things down gives your ideas a chance to live, to grow, and to become something greater. So, make it your daily practice. Always be ready to capture your thoughts. Carry a notebook, keep your phone nearby, or even record a voice memo if you cannot write at that moment. Treat your ideas like seeds. Some will grow, some will not, but every seed deserves a place in the soil. If you write them down, you give your creativity a garden to flourish in. Technique 5. Use the power of what if. One of the most powerful questions you can ever ask yourself is this: what if? These two small words have the power to unlock your imagination and free your mind from limits. Many of the world's greatest inventions, stories, and discoveries began with someone daring to ask, what if? What if humans could fly? What if people could talk across oceans without letters? What if a small machine could hold thousands of songs? These what-if questions gave birth to airplanes, telephones, and music players. At first, these ideas sounded crazy, even impossible. But once the question was asked, the door to creativity opened, and step by step, those dreams became reality. The beauty of what if is that it removes fear. Normally, when we think about problems, we limit ourselves by asking, what is possible right now? Or, what has already been done? These questions keep us inside a small box. But when you ask, what if? You allow yourself to step outside the box. You give yourself permission to dream without judgment. For example, instead of saying, I cannot finish this project quickly, ask, what if I could finish it in just one day? What would I need to do? Even if you cannot achieve it in one day, this question may lead to faster and smarter solutions you had not considered before. What if questions also help in daily life? What if I try a new route to work? What if I speak to someone I have never spoken to before? What if I read a book outside my usual interests? Each small what if can add new experiences, new knowledge, and new inspiration. Creativity does not always mean creating something huge. Sometimes, it simply means seeing ordinary life in a new way. So, the next time you feel stuck, do not complain that you have no ideas. Instead, sit quietly and begin to ask, what if? Write down every answer, even the ones that sound silly. You may laugh at first, but often, the silly ideas hide the seeds of something extraordinary. Creativity loves what if, because what if is the language of imagination. Technique 6. Take breaks and rest your mind. When most people want to solve a problem or come up with a new idea, they think the answer is to work harder. They sit at their desk for hours, staring at the same page, trying to force their brain to deliver a solution. But often, the harder they push, the more stuck they feel. Creativity does not always respond to pressure. In fact, sometimes the best way to get an idea is to stop thinking about it. Have you noticed that some of your best thoughts appear in the shower, while walking, or even while lying in bed? That is because your brain does not stop working when you rest. In the background, your subconscious mind continues to process, connect, and search for answers. Imagine your brain as a lake. When you throw too many stones into the water, the surface becomes disturbed, full of ripples, and unclear. You cannot see through it. But if you let the water settle, it becomes calm and clear, and suddenly you can see what lies beneath. Your mind works the same way. If you overload it with stress and nonstop effort, it becomes cloudy. But when you take a break, breathe, and relax, your thoughts become clear, and ideas begin to rise naturally to the surface. This is why many great thinkers, scientists, and artists were known for taking long walks, enjoying music, or simply sitting quietly. They understood that rest is not wasted time. Rest is part of the creative process. It gives space for your subconscious to do its silent work. The answer you could not find at your desk might suddenly appear while you are washing dishes or playing with your child. So, do not be afraid of pauses. When you feel stuck, step away. Take a walk, stretch your body, drink some water, or enjoy a small activity that makes you happy. Trust that your brain is still working in the background. More often than not, the very idea you were chasing will appear when you least expect it, like a gift from your subconscious mind. Technique 7. Mix different fields together. Some of the most remarkable creative ideas come not from thinking harder in one area, but from combining two different worlds. Many inventions and innovations exist because someone looked at two separate fields and asked, what would happen if I put them together? Think about the smartphone. It is not just a phone. It is also a computer, a camera, a library, a music player, and a game console. It combined many different technologies to create something new and powerful. Online learning does the same. It takes education and mixes it with technology, making knowledge accessible to millions of people who could never attend traditional schools. These examples show that creativity often comes from connection, not addition. To use this technique in your own life, start by looking at the interests and skills you already have. What are two things that you like or know a little about? Maybe you enjoy cooking and you also love storytelling. Could you combine them to create a cooking show that tells stories about different cultures? Maybe you are passionate about fitness and technology. Could you develop an app that makes exercise more fun, rewarding, or social? Even small combinations can lead to big results. The goal is to explore connections that others might not notice. Sometimes, combining different fields requires curiosity and experimentation. You may try several ideas before finding one that truly works. But the process itself will train your mind to think creatively. Your brain starts seeing patterns, relationships, and possibilities where before there were none. It becomes a habit to think in terms of combination and innovation. You start noticing opportunities in everyday life that others overlook. Remember, creativity is not always about inventing something entirely new. Often, it is about taking existing elements from different areas and connecting them in a way that surprises people. The next time you face a challenge or want to generate ideas, ask yourself, what two things could I combine? You might be surprised at the endless possibilities that emerge when two worlds collide. Creativity, after all, is the art of connection, and your imagination is the bridge. Technique 8. Challenge the rules. Every society, every industry, and even every family has rules. Some rules are necessary. They keep people safe, organized, and productive. But many rules are simply habits or traditions that no one has ever questioned. Creative people understand this clearly. They do not blindly accept rules. Instead, they ask themselves, why do we do it this way? Is there another way? Can it be better? By questioning what is accepted as normal, they often find opportunities for innovation and discovery that others overlook. Think about the world we live in today. For a long time, people believed that only taxis could pick up passengers. That was the rule. Then came Uber, a company that questioned that rule and said, what if anyone with a car could offer rides? By challenging the rule, they created a new industry and transformed transportation forever. Similarly, people once thought that music could only be sold on CDs, or that newspapers were the only way to share news. Streaming platforms, online media, and podcasts broke those rules, giving creators new ways to share their work and reach millions of people. These breakthroughs happened because someone dared to question, to challenge, and to imagine a different path. Challenging rules does not always mean breaking the law or causing trouble. It is about thinking critically and creatively. It is about asking whether the way things are done today is the best way. Maybe a school teaches in a certain method simply because it has always been done this way. Maybe a business follows certain processes because they think it is impossible to change them. By questioning the rules, you open the door to new ideas, new methods, and new possibilities. The next time you face a problem or want to come up with a creative solution, take a moment to examine the rules around you. Don't accept them automatically. Ask yourself, is there a better way? Could I do this differently? What would happen if I tried another approach? You might be surprised by the ideas that emerge. Creativity often hides behind rules, waiting for someone curious and brave enough to challenge them. And that someone can be you. Technique 9. Surround yourself with creative people. The people you spend time with have a powerful influence on your thoughts and ideas. If you are constantly around negative, doubtful, or critical people, it is very difficult for your creativity to grow. Their words, attitudes, and habits can slowly limit your imagination. Even if you have a brilliant idea, constant negativity can make you doubt yourself. Your ideas may never see the light of day. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with creative, curious, and open-minded people, your mind begins to expand. Their energy, excitement, and way of thinking inspire you to look at the world differently and to take risks you might not take alone. You do not need to personally know famous inventors, artists, or successful innovators to benefit from this technique. You can read their books, listen to their interviews, watch their talks, or follow their blogs. These sources allow you to be influenced by creative minds, even from a distance. You can also join communities, clubs, or online groups where people share ideas, ask questions, and explore new ways of thinking. In these environments, creativity becomes contagious. Ideas start bouncing from one person to another, building on each other, growing stronger, and developing in ways that would be impossible alone. Being around creative people also challenges your thinking. They push you to question assumptions, to experiment, and to approach problems differently. They show you that failure is not the end, but a step in the creative process. You learn to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Slowly, your mind begins to adopt their habits, their curiosity, and their courage. So, take a close look at the people you spend most of your time with. Are they helping your creativity grow, or are they holding it back? Seek out dreamers, builders, thinkers, and problem solvers. Let their curiosity and energy influence you. With the right environment, your own creative abilities will rise naturally. You will notice that your ideas become bolder, your imagination becomes richer, and your confidence in your creative power grows stronger every day. Surrounding yourself with the right people is not just helpful. It is essential for unleashing your full creative potential. Technique 10. Use constraints to your advantage. Many people believe that creativity comes only from freedom. The freedom to do anything, spend as much as they want, or work without limits. But the truth is, some of the most powerful creative ideas are born from constraints. When you have fewer resources, less time, or limited tools, your mind is forced to think in new ways. Constraints push you to explore possibilities you may never consider when everything is easy and available. They challenge you to find solutions beyond the obvious and to be more resourceful with what you have. Think about filmmakers who create masterpieces with small budgets. They cannot afford big sets, expensive actors, or advanced technology, so they are forced to invent clever ways to tell their story. Every choice becomes more intentional. Every solution must be smart, creative, and meaningful. Writers have also done the same. Some of the most memorable stories were created using simple words, limited settings, or small casts of characters. The limitation did not stop creativity. It made the work sharper, more focused, and often more brilliant. Even some of the world's most successful businesses began with very little. They started with small ideas, small teams, and small funds. But they made the most of what they had and grew step by step. Constraints help your mind look at the problem differently. Instead of seeing limits as obstacles, you begin to see them as opportunities. They force you to think outside the box. For example, if you have limited time to complete a project, you might discover a faster, simpler, and more efficient method than if you had unlimited hours. If your materials are limited, You might invent a new technique to make something unique. In every case, constraints become a tool to stretch your imagination. So, the next time you feel limited, do not complain or feel discouraged. Ask yourself, how can I use what I do have in the most creative way? Approach challenges with curiosity, not frustration. You will find that your mind becomes sharper, more inventive, and more resilient. Limitations are not barriers. They are stepping stones to your most creative ideas. By learning to embrace them, you will discover a power in your mind that you never knew existed. Technique 11. Play like a child. Children are some of the most naturally creative beings in the world. They do not overthink, they do not worry about what others will say, and they do not fear being wrong. They play, they imagine, and they explore the world with curiosity and joy. A stick can become a sword, a cardboard box can turn into a spaceship, and a pile of stones can be a castle. Their minds are free, unrestricted by rules, judgments, or fear. This is why children are often so inventive, so full of ideas, and so willing to try new things. As we grow older, many of us lose this natural creativity. We become more serious. We are afraid of making mistakes, looking foolish, or being judged by others. We follow rules too closely and stop experimenting. We forget that failure is part of the process of discovery. As a result, our imagination shrinks and our ability to generate creative ideas diminishes. But the truth is, creativity does not have to be serious. It thrives when there is freedom, fun, and a willingness to explore. To bring back your creativity, you need to reconnect with the child inside you. Allow yourself to play with ideas without worrying about whether they are perfect or practical. Laugh at your own thoughts. Try something silly, unusual, or unexpected. Experiment without pressure. When you give yourself permission to be playful, your mind starts to open in new ways. Connections that seemed impossible before suddenly appear. Ideas that were hidden start to flow. Playing like a child does not mean being irresponsible. It means approaching creativity with curiosity, joy, and freedom. It means experimenting without fear and exploring possibilities without judgment. The more you embrace this mindset, the more your imagination will grow. Remember, some of the most innovative inventions, memorable stories, and exciting ideas in history were born from playful experimentation. So, step into your own playground of ideas, laugh at the process, and let yourself be silly. Your creativity will thrive when you let it play. Technique 12. Practice daily creativity exercises. Creativity, like any other skill, grows stronger with practice. Just as athletes train their bodies and musicians train their fingers, your brain needs regular exercises to develop the ability to generate ideas. Many people wait for creativity to strike them like a sudden lightning bolt, but this approach rarely works. Creativity is not just a gift you are born with. It is a skill you can train, strengthen, and improve with daily effort. One of the simplest and most effective ways to practice creativity is to set a small challenge every day. For example, take 10 minutes each morning to write down 10 ideas. These ideas can be about anything: a new product, a story, a joke, a solution to a problem, or even something completely silly. At first, some of these ideas may seem bad or impossible, and that is perfectly fine. The purpose is not to create perfect ideas immediately. The purpose is to exercise your brain and train it to think differently, quickly and openly. Over time, you will notice that your ideas become more original, more interesting, and easier to generate. Another way to practice daily creativity is to experiment with small projects. Try combining unusual things, asking what-if questions, or solving simple problems in multiple ways. The more you practice, the more your brain becomes comfortable with exploring possibilities without fear of mistakes. Daily practice also builds discipline. Just like brushing your teeth or exercising your body, exercising your creativity becomes a habit. You no longer need to wait for inspiration to arrive. It comes naturally because your mind is trained to generate ideas consistently. Remember, the key to creativity is repetition. Some ideas will fail, some will be silly, and some will not make sense at first. But every effort trains your creative muscles. As you continue daily practice, you will find that generating ideas becomes easier, faster, and more enjoyable. Creativity will no longer feel like a mysterious talent reserved for a few lucky people. It will become a natural part of how you think, work, and solve problems. Make daily creativity exercises a habit, and watch your imagination grow stronger every single day. Technique 13. Take action on your ideas. After learning all the techniques, the final and most important step in creativity is action. You can have notebooks full of ideas, imagine countless possibilities, and practice your creative exercises every day. But if you never act on your ideas, they remain only thoughts. Creativity is not just about thinking or planning. Creativity comes to life only when you do something with it. Ideas are seeds, and action is the water that helps them grow. Without action, even the best ideas will never bloom. Many people are afraid to take action because they fear failure, judgment, or making mistakes. They say, "I will try it later," or "maybe it is not good enough." This hesitation kills creativity. The truth is that failure is not the enemy of creativity. It is part of the process. Every time you act, you learn something new, even if the idea does not work perfectly. Each failure teaches you what works and what does not. It sharpens your skills, strengthens your mind, and brings you closer to success. Creative people do not wait for perfect conditions. They start where they are with what they have and improve along the way. Taking action also transforms you from a dreamer into a creator. A dreamer only imagines possibilities. A creator takes responsibility for turning those possibilities into reality. Even small actions matter. Testing an idea on a small scale, sharing it with others, or building a prototype can open doors to bigger opportunities. Ideas grow and improve when you use them, not when they sit untouched. Every small step brings your imagination closer to something tangible. So, do not let your ideas die in your notebook, in your mind, or on your computer. Choose one idea today and take a step forward. Experiment, test, create, and observe the results. Learn from mistakes, adjust, and try again. Action is the bridge between imagination and reality. When you act consistently, your creative mind will flourish, your confidence will grow, and you will discover that ideas have the power to change not only your life, but the lives of others. Final words. You are creative. My friend, now you have 13 powerful techniques to generate creative ideas, even if you once believed that you were not creative. The truth is, creativity is not a gift reserved for a few lucky people. It is a skill that anyone can build, including you. Your mind is capable of amazing ideas. You just need to learn how to unlock them. Start by believing in yourself. Ask better questions that open new possibilities. Collect inspiration from everywhere, noticing the small details of life that others often ignore. Write down your thoughts, because every idea, no matter how small, has the potential to grow. Use the power of what if to imagine possibilities without limits, and take breaks to let your subconscious mind work in the background. Combine different fields to create something unique, and do not be afraid to challenge the rules that no longer serve you. Surround yourself with creative people, because their energy and ideas will lift you higher. Embrace your limitations as tools for innovation. Play like a child, laugh at your own ideas, and explore freely. Practice creativity every day, even with small exercises, until it becomes a natural part of your life. And most importantly, take action on your ideas, because ideas only become powerful when they are brought to life. Here at English Achieve, we believe that everyone has creative potential, and by following these techniques, you will begin to see ideas everywhere. Creativity is not about being born special. It is about training your mind, being curious, and daring to experiment. Once you start applying these steps, you will never stop discovering new possibilities. The world is waiting for your ideas, and there is no limit to what you can create. So go out there, be bold, be curious, and generate the most creative ideas of your life. Trust yourself, take action, and let your imagination lead the way. Your creativity is ready. It just needs you to use it.